I'm ready.
All right.
Where's the letter B?
Again, same thing. If you could, full sentences, look at me when you talk. And if you could state your rank, name, company, and billet.
My name is Sgt Shaffer. I'm with Kilo Company, 3rd Platoon, 3rd Squad Leader.
Could you explain the workup for this deployment and how it prepared you and your Marines?
Unfortunately, I didn't check into the battalion until July 1st. I missed most of the workup. I did check over, however, checked in like right in time for EMV. And so we knocked that out with 3rd Platoon. From what I'd seen, a lot of Marines were well prepared. They took on everything that was needed to get done and fulfilled it with the meeting the commander's intent overall. So overall, and even given the point we're at in the deployment, I feel the Marines are definitely well prepared and that the workup was a success for them.
What are your thoughts about Sangin?
Saying this is my first time to Afghanistan. It's definitely night and day from what I've been before in Iraq. I thought it was going to be mountainous terrain and everything else, which obviously we have that to the north. But the AO in which we operate, it's trees and waters and canals and everything, just a whole bunch of stuff I didn't think I would see in Afghanistan. Overall, it's like the environment as far as interacting with people are very similar to Iraqis in that they they want help, but they're afraid to come and ask us for help. And they kind of think that we're just here just to shoot guns and blow things up, and that's not our mission. So they just grasp that concept. We're here to help. Overall, it means it's different, though. That's for sure.
What is your responsibility in 3-7?
Overall, being the senior squad leader for the platoon, I take care of my Marines and my squad, making sure that they're staying mentally in the game, staying positive. Being away from the family for 7 months is definitely friends and family. It's definitely a challenge, as well as mentoring all the Marines in the platoon. And as well as helping out and with what I can with the Staff Sergeant Lieutenant, taking some of the burden off them.
Can you talk about your experience throughout this deployment?
Throughout the deployment, it's been new to me. The whole thing with obviously we don't really operate as far as foot mobile at nighttime due to the IED threat. So setting up night ambushes, kind of going out, occupying terrain or buildings. Interacting with the locals has definitely been interesting. We encounter that language barrier, but using the linguists that we have here available to us, we have a great, I guess, asset with them being here. Some of them being local, some of them not being local, but they definitely bring, that other missing tool to the table. It's definitely an experience I'll never forget. Being out here. Like I said, I've been lucky though with the environment being what it's been. I'm very fortunate to be able to go home with all the limbs, and it's unfortunate with the losses we've had, but as long as we're getting the job done.
Can you explain? Can you talk about an average security patrol?
Average security patrol depends on the LD time. We have anything from 07 steps to in the afternoon. We get up to our PCCs, kick my order, making sure all the attachments needed to be, everything's good to go, go on patrol, interacting mainly with the locals, trying to help them with whatever we can help them with. Like I said before, conducting key leader engagements, talking to the locals, the village elders really, and just kind of like seeing what's going on in the area, what kind of information they can offer us, and what we can do to help them in return. Especially now working on as much as we have been with the ANSEF, it's been really interesting. At times it's kind of what's the word? Tedious, I guess, working with them. Like I said before, with the language barrier, but they're definitely trying. You can tell, they're trying to adopt our TTPs and do things the way we do. And at times it's kind of amusing, but at the same time, like it's serious business. So, it's good overall.
Can you talk about the counterinsurgency piece? Just how you conduct your counterinsurgency?
Really, it boils down to what we can do to help them. With the deployment being what it's been pretty non-kinetic in our AO. So we've been really fortunate to help out the locals and a lot of interaction with them. We, a lot of the big things is kind of like anything small is like giving a local a Band-Aid. To them, that means the world. Something that we take for granted. to as much as like giving them beams or like wood to help them like reinforce or build bridges across these canals out here. It's been really interesting to help them out, and it just kind of, like I said, something so small like to us that we take for granted, how big of an impact it plays in their lives. It's really interesting.
Can you explain how you feel about the locals, how you interacted with them and how they interacted with you?
It's almost like playing charades, I mean, they're trying to tell us something, we're trying to get, to what they're saying, and then vice versa, we tell them something, and then we get a kind of a lot of dumb looks at times, but with our linguists we have, they bridge that gap to an extent. There have been times, obviously, where we have our own language barrier between us and our Terps, so, I mean, that's one blank on the question. Sorry.
Do you want to ask again? Or?
Yeah, if you just
Yeah.
interaction with the locals.
Right. How do you feel about them?
Yeah. No. I mean, and like I mentioned before, with the whole thing with Iraq, they're definitely, they come up to us quite a bit with, like I say, like wants and needs, but things that help them out. And unfortunately, they think that we're just, we walk around with just pockets full of cash to throw out, and it's kind of one of those things. You help me and I'll help you. Which they don't understand that concept here, but it's definitely been interesting.
What is your most memorable moment throughout this deployment? It's like a funny story or touching moments, maybe.
I mean, all in all, it's all been, like I said before, I'll never forget. It's all been memorable. I think some of the funnier things, as we're crossing these canals out here, we got Marines crossing with 80 pounds of gear on, and they're going across this little 4-inch beam of where a tree branch has fallen over, and they take a spill here and there. It's usually pretty funny, and not so funny when it happens to you, though. But really, I mean, aside from that, there's really been nothing that just like stood out as the most memorable moment.
What was the hardest part of your daily routine throughout this deployment?
Definitely interacting with the local nationals and the ANSAF, trying to take what we've been taught and the way we do things and get them to grasp that concept and operate the same way. It's frustrating going on patrol with the ANSAF leading it. Now, we take a back seat and kind of just like walking out and watching them learn. It's like letting your kid walk. It's just something that you're so just like antsy, like you want to do it, but at the same time you don't, because you don't want to get hurt. Same thing with here. Is just like you want them to go out there and knock it out of the park and just do a good job, but at the same time you like that, you worry in the back of your mind. So like just kind of like making sure that they understand everything, just being patient overall. Like you said, with that language barrier, it's definitely tries the patience.
How do you feel about working alongside the Afghan National Security Forces?
They're good. I mean, like I said, they're definitely they're not up to par with what we're at, but at the same time, the Marine Corps has been around for centuries, and where and where the ANSAF is at and where they've come from and what they're doing. For them, it's a very bold decision to actually go into the, either be AUP or ANA or whatever, because for them, it's like they're going against Taliban. Taliban could possibly, go after the family if they find out who they are. So it's a very bold decision, vice what we face, in the States. But I definitely tip my hat to them. They're doing, they're making leaps and bounds, before our eyes in this, 7-month deployment. So I'm eager to see how it's going to be once we pull out, and it's their problem, I guess.
Okay. Make sure it's still going. Did you get a lot of downtime? What did you do when you were have downtime to cure boredom?
Me personally, I'm a kind of gym freak, but I definitely enjoy my time in the gym. I try to encourage that upon the Marines in my squad. But you definitely sit around with a lot of people, and you just obviously have time to think about everything and under the sun. But you get to learn a lot about your friends and your peers next to you, and you build those like really close friendships, between playing games, between like cards or Yahtzee or whatever. We have a good time. But we're always making sure that everything's ready to go for the next mission.
Can you talk about the weather conditions and how they affected your overall mission?
It was cold. Like, I mean, I never expected Afghanistan to be as cold as it got at times, but there were some nights where, it was just unbearable. I mean, it was unbelievably cold. Going through, like I said before, like my whole mental image and what I thought Afghanistan was going to be when I got here just wasn't it. When we got these canals and everything, like going through the canals, because wet feet means you have your feet. And so going through that, and then you're walking around at 30-degree temperatures, it just makes for a very unpleasant patrol. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Can you describe the attachments and how you think they added to your missions and
The attachments we have here at the battalion, I mean, they vary anything from what we have with combat camera to the CAG and engineers, head, FET. They all bring their own uniqueness to an infantry squad that we don't normally have on our own. So we've utilized just about all of them here and there, helping us accomplish the mission. I definitely feel they all do a good job in what they do, and they understand that they're here to help us out, and we understand that. So it's a good working relationship we have with each other.
Overall, how do you think the deployment went?
Overall, I mean, it went very good. We've been very fortunate in my platoon not to have any casualties or anything to that nature. We've been very fortunate. I feel as a battalion, from where they were last year to where we're at now, it's definitely night and day from what I've heard from the Marines. So overall, I think the deployment's gone very well.
How do you feel about being part of 3-7?
It's different. It's a different beast. Coming from battalions I've been in before to come into here. Overall, it still functions the same, but all battalions have their own little ins and outs. It's definitely something I wanted to do. I wanted to come to Afghanistan. I went and looked up 3-7 and saw where they'd been and what they've done, and I was definitely very eager to come and join 3-7 in this deployment. So, overall, I mean, it's been an experience, Yeah, I mean, being part of 3-7 is definitely something I'll never forget. Coming from the battalion that I was in before with 2-5 and doing what I've done before and coming here, it's different. I looked it up before I actually joined the battalion and saw that they were here last year and coming back here, so I was definitely eager. I knew I'd be coming into a good group of guys, with experience and wealth of knowledge that I would definitely, feed off of them and try to get myself spun up to with where they were at. But, I mean, overall, it's a decent battalion.
Good. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to add?
I'm pretty much good, man.
Good.